going on, guys? All right, so we just made it back home from Austin, Texas. Some long flight delays, so your boy was going hours longer than normal without the food, so a little bit hangry, a little bit more so irritated about the whole timing of the meal situation being thrown off because I gotta go train. So got a breakfast in, got on the flight, hours of delays. Finally made it back, got here, got the liquid pre-workout meal shake down. So we're fueled up, we're good. It's about 4:30 p.m., which is not my usual training time. I'm like an 11 a.m. guy. At the latest, I'm a 1:30 p.m. guy, but this kind of late afternoon, early evening, I just kind of hit a dip. So we're gonna have to rally hard. I was debating, do I caffeinate or not? We're getting a little bit close to the cutoff point for caffeine, but we got to rally. We're gonna throw a scoop of pre down and head over to the gym, hit an upper body lift. So I'm not gonna bore you guys with too much footage. We just had a bunch of footage from this exact workout a few weeks back. So I'll get footage of at least the top set of bench. I'm gonna work up to heavy set of 5, probably get 4 plates on there, hopefully for 5. Then hit all the remaining accessory work. And at some point this episode, we'll for sure go over the non-training day diet. So all the meals that I'm eating on my off days, which are different than the training day meals, which you guys saw in episode 1. And then we'll go through the rest of the training week. All right, we'll see you at the gym. All right, guys, we're back at Gold's Gym. Got a leg day today, so it's the big squat and deadlift day. Now, as I've gotten a few weeks into this thing, I'm getting ramped back up the squats and deadlifts. One thing I'm realizing is, with food lower, dropping weight, and just getting back under a barbell, which stresses the body in a whole different way than machines do, I probably need to reduce the volume a little bit of some of the bodybuilding work. Keep the intensity high, but drop the volume. So rather than doing multiple work sets of the leg extension, leg curl, adductor machine, all that today, I'm gonna basically do one cluster set of each of them. So starting off leg extension, leg curl, calf before getting under the bar for a squat. So I'm gonna set the stack at a weight that I can get for 10 reps. And I'm gonna rep it out for as many as possible. Then I'm gonna rest 30 seconds, immediately rep it out for as many reps as I can get. Rest 30 seconds, immediately rep out as many as I can get. So it might look something like 10, 5, 3, and I end up getting 18 reps at kind of a 10 rep max weight, which is highly stimulating, high intensity, but a little bit lower volume compared to if I did multiple working sets of 10 plus reps. So we're gonna do that same cluster format for leg extension, leg curl, and all the other accessories today. And I think I'll have a little bit more energy and recovery resources for the squats and the deadlifts, which are only getting heavier. All right, 30 seconds on the clock. Okay, so 9 reps there, 30 seconds on the clock. Got the gym pin loaded with a 45 and a 25 on the full stack, so it's a heavy leg extension. All right. Ten seconds. All right, one more attempt. Another 30 seconds. See if I can get 2, maybe 3 here. Clusters are brutal, but that's it for leg extension now. Very powerful stimulus, but be a little fresher for squats compared to multiple work sets. All right, cluster set. Seconds. Hardest part about a leg curl after leg extension is curling against the pressure of the quad pump. "15 seconds. Here we go. One more attempt.
Well, thank you. End set. Hams are smoked. Okay, getting into the work sets on squat. So last week for this workout, I did 32 reps. Remember, total rep based training. Chip away at the total rep count, however just feels best for the day. Not letting any set become slow and grindy. Just a lot of reps at a low intensity. So I bumped it up 15 pounds this week. Same workout, 32 reps at 380 pounds. Now, obviously, 380 pounds, I mean, this is not some sort of impressive squat session, and that's just the name of the game for me in the early phases of building a squat. It's just a lot of boring, monotonous, lower intensity squatting at high volumes. For deadlift, it's the opposite. Lower volumes, fewer exposures, touching more heavy weights, and just really expressing the strength, which I find I build from the squats, and then it translates to the deadlift as long as I'm honing in the movement pattern. So anyway, we're gonna start chipping away here. Jake, maybe you can edit out all my straining Valsalva noises for the audience. But 6 reps felt about right. So, you know, I could push that to 8, 10 reps, but the reps would be ugly. I'd lose technique, bar speed will be slowing down. They become very ineffective reps, or I should say poor reps when it comes to dialing in a movement pattern, a skill. So for hypertrophy, targeting a muscle group, train it close to failure. For a skill, I like to leave it a little bit more in the tank. Don't get yourself into a compromised position with ugly, slow, grindy reps. Not until you need to practice grinding at the end of a cycle. I think I'm gonna do a bunch of threes on these. This is an exercise I don't really want to get into grinder mode on. Just a bunch of solid, moderate intensity volume. Just these being a pretty taxing movement on the hamstring, and it's not exactly a lift you can really just fail. You know, you'll be screwed there at the bottom. So anyway, I'm gonna do multiple sets of 3 on this. I'm gonna hit a cluster on the adductor machine.
It's weird, dude.
God, I'm too tall to get in these frames. All right, finishing up on the adductor machine. We got 2 1/4 loaded on the gym pin. We're gonna cluster this. Same thing we did in the leg extension, leg curl. Max reps, rest 30. Max reps, rest 30. Max reps.
I was gonna say if there's like one more thing I can do after this. I think everything else is
30 seconds. Ooh, one more round.
in a lot of ways, the pictures are kind of like the goalies, specialization and you want to be a picture, you gotta like do a lot of
All right. Don't skip your good girl machine, guys. Don't skip your watermelon crushers. These are a huge contributor to lower body mass. Insert to the knee and the hip. It's big for durability in the knee and the hip, and great contributor to strength on any squat pattern.
All right, we are back at the house. Finish up the leg day. So made a game time decision to not deadlift on this day and to reallocate deadlifts to the second lower body day of the week. So higher volume squat day, weights are getting a little bit heavier, and I just kind of felt at the end of it, this is not going to be the most productive deadlift session. And just considering that there was the low back tweak a couple weeks back, I figured best course of action here is just to put it on a day where I'm not as fatigued, put it on the next lower body day where the squat volume is lower. And in fact, I'll do it more at the beginning of the session as opposed to at the end when I'm pre-fatigued. So, part of this whole program, it's going to be a dynamic process where I have to be open to autoregulation. I have to be open to changing things on the fly. And just as I talked about this nerve injury, it's just a major X factor that I have to work around. And I'm getting back into chasing heavy barbell lifts, which I haven't done in a long time. So just reevaluating my own recovery capacity, reevaluating my ability to train heavy and the frequencies and all those things. I'm still kind of figuring this out on the fly right now. So, and that's part of just being in tune with your body and, going by experience. So, with this nerve injury, it leaves my erector, my right glute, hip, knee, they're all kind of a little bit more exposed. So I've got to be very cautious about just making sure I don't put myself in a compromised position, go through a big deadlift session fatigued, and then I favor the left side and I pull with a bad mechanic, and then boom, it's a significant injury. So all things that I'm just going to be tweaking on the fly. So I may be playing with accessory movements, playing with volume, playing with different things, but the goal remains we are on track to pull an 800-pound deadlift again, hit that 700-pound squat, and just all these big lifts. So it's just going to be fitting in pieces of the puzzle along the way. So anyway, been a few days of travel, bad sleep. I got a tattoo session tomorrow, finishing up this rib piece. It's going to be miserable. I'll take the next day off. Tattoo, it's kind of like something you got to recover from in and of itself. You get kind of an immune spike. It's trauma to the skin. So take that day off, next day off, and then we got one more upper and one more lower body session this week. And at some point in this video, I'll take you guys through the non-training day of eating. So anyway, I'm going to get to some client work. All right, guys, a little side quest. We are at Blackbird Studio in Mebane, North Carolina with the legendary TJ Poole. We're about to go into a little operation, get this side piece finished, get a little something on the forearm. Of course, starting off with a pre-tattoo meal. Got all the meals packed with me, so we'll go over those. Anyway, I'm gonna get ready to endure some pain on these ribs. TJ working his magic on me. I'm a very sensitive spot right up by the nipple, but this is gonna look great. TJ's the man. For those of you who don't know him, he had an appearance on Ink Master season 11, and he is easily the best tattooer in North Carolina. Hit him up. All right, the finished product. Father and son. All right, intermission. Just got the ribs done. Gonna get the forearm done now, but gotta get another meal. We got homemade sourdough, smoked salmon lox with cream cheese, non-fat Greek yogurt, whey isolate, dark chocolate, and blueberries. So I'm taking a little break during the tattoo. Gonna go in and get this forearm piece done. So I'm just going for a quick walk. You see, I brought my meals with me. Guys, I know I chase extremes, and I don't expect the vast majority of people to, center their life around training and diet to the extent that I do. But for those of you who, follow this page, you're probably into training and nutrition to some degree, at least. Many of you are very serious about it. You'd be surprised what you can do when you just put in some effort. Like, with nutrition, people are like, how do I handle, like, I'm traveling, or, I've got an all-day engagement. It's like, just bring a cooler, bring some Tupperware. Like, prepare the food the night before. It's not that big of a deal. Eat the meal cold out of a Tupperware. It's not the end of the world. When you just apply some effort, a little bit of forethought, a little bit of preparation, and you're willing to slightly inconvenience yourself, you can stay on a fat loss diet. You can stay on plan. I'm getting my steps in. It's an all-day tattoo session where I'm laying on my back for the majority of the day. I'm still gonna get in 10,000 steps. Every time we take a break, I go for a brisk 10-minute walk. Brought my meals with me, stayed on plan. Same thing with travel, work. You guys, you'd be surprised what you can do when you put forth the effort into it.
something. 5 is the goal. If it gets dicey at 3, okay. Okay, 3, 2, 1, breathe back. 2, 1, up. Good. Thanks. What's going on, guys? Okay, I am here at a new location. This is Bucked Up Gym in Cary, about 30 minutes from me. You know what? I kind of needed a little change of scenery, and it's going to be a big squat and deadlift session today. And you know, I'm kind of locking into a new place mentally for this. You know, ready to really start ramping this thing up and just flip the mindset to, okay, it's freaking go time now. So no better way to do that than just kind of a new place, new change of scenery. You know, you're not bumping into the same people who you're chatting with and getting distracted. So this is going to be an all business session. So I'm going to work up to a decent triple on squat. We'll see what that ends up being, and then on deadlift, I'm gonna work up and just kind of feel it out. Might work up to 585, whatever feels like a decent RPE 8 triple for the day. We'll go up to that, and then that'll kind of set the stage for the progression moving forward. So anyway, guys, sweet gym here. We're gonna start off with leg curl, calf. I'm gonna keep the leg extension and all the quad and glute work for after squats and deadlifts. I'm starting to shift these to the front end of the session so I can be fresh for them and generate as much force as possible. But the calves open up the ankle mobility. Leg curl doesn't detract from the squat. It'll just kind of feel great on the knees. So anyway, let's get after it. All right, guys, going into this seated leg curl. So every time I do a new seated leg curl at a new gym, I spend like what feels like 30 minutes, try to dial in the settings. You know, there's like 5 different knobs and adjustments you gotta make. So we're good to go now. All right, let's get 2 hard sets in. Nope. Tall man defeated by machine.
Here we go again.
Another adjustment here. Jake, you can edit this for some humor. All right, there we go. Let's get it. Come on, old girl. There we go, we're locked in. Set me free. There we go. So something I'm really trying to put an emphasis on for these squats as I'm shifting out of pure bodybuilder mode and into strength athlete mode is just generating as much force as possible in the concentric. You know, when you're doing the bodybuilding stuff, you're not moving with velocity and explosive intent necessarily, which is something I need to regain for myself when it comes to strength. So I've noticed that something that was kind of ingrained in me over the last year was kind of moving a little bit slower without that same pop. So like in my warm-up sets and lighter weight and sub-maximal working sets, moving forward, a big emphasis for me is going to be move with some damn snap and regain that rapid rate of force production. By the way, guys, I realize when I watch these videos, you know, when I'm squatting and lifting, I've got my AirPods in playing, so I hear the sound of my music, and then I watch these videos back, and it's just the sound of me huffing and puffing. So I apologize, guys. I apologize. Bye. lined up in the camera frame? Yeah, right. Yeah, dialing in that speed again, dialing in that pop. This will, I think, return pretty quickly. This is something I'm kind of, naturally pretty good at, is that fast twitch, explosive power. So I think the strength is going to come roaring back in. All right, last warm up, I think 455 is probably going to be the top triple here. So 405 has always been like my litmus test for how is the day going to go. Now, obviously, as we get stronger, this will be a very light warm up, but just ramping back up. Got to make this feel like a toy again. Right. Not bad. We're rusty, but it's coming back. Okay, so my plan is I'm gonna work up to 455 for today's top triple. And then the progression that I'm hoping for moving forward these next few weeks is, I did 405 for 5 last week. I'll go 455 for 3 this week, and I'll go 5 plates for 1 next week, then cycle back to 5s. When I go back to 5s, go 455 for 5. Then the next week, 5 plates for 3. Then the next week, 545 for 1. And then kind of keep going with that progression. The week after that, 455 for 5 plates for 5, 545 for 3, 6 plates for 1. Now, keep in mind, this is strength that I'm essentially regaining, right? I've possessed this strength before. If you were just building to new levels of strength, this sort of progression, making those jumps, wouldn't be viable. But for me, I am essentially restoring strength that I've been capable of in the past. And once I surpass that, 650, 635 mark, then we're gonna have to get a little bit more meticulous with programming, taking smaller jumps, things like that. But for now, I'm hoping I can kind of ramp the strength up with that sort of progression. So anyway, starts with a good set at 455 for 3 right here. All right, not bad. I'll be honest, I'm just so not used to having any significant amount of weight loaded on my spine. So this is just gonna take some getting used to. Like, I unracked that, I was like, holy shit. Then I get to the bottom of it, it's like, oh, right, this isn't very much. So just kind of getting the nervous system woken back up, getting reacclimated to heavy-ish weights again. That's the name of the game for the next few weeks. try to generate as much force as possible with these weights, rebuild the confidence, and yeah, have that strength come surging back. So I'm gonna drop down to, we'll go 425 for a couple back off sets of 3. Then we're gonna move on to deadlift. All right, let's move this with some speed. Move this with some speed. Have that little mental inhibition on the 455, just being the heaviest I've had on my back in as long as I can remember. But now that we have felt that weight again, time to start moving with some confidence. Right. Wait. Oop. Hold up. That feels uneven. No? Are we good? Well, I guess that was in my head. Might have just had the bar kind of misaligned. Come on, Joey. Ah, that's better. Oh yeah, that's better. Ah, that feels good. All right, last set. Let's move this shit with some freaking power. Come on, last set, best set. Come on. No fear, no fear. Yep. All right, not bad. All right, squats are done. That felt good. You know, I'll level with you guys. Getting heavy weight on the spine again, it's kind of a fear I have to get past, you know, and when I had this nerve injury, you know, when you've experienced a catastrophic, you know, essentially career-ending injury from a disc herniation, pulling heavy weight, it puts a seed of doubt in your mind, right? And just kind of dealing with years and years of retweaking things and just, you know, the leg, the back, whatever. There's a lot of apprehension, so I just need to get past that. And it's almost like, you know, I'll go through a session like this, I'm like, God damn, man, like I used to be fearless with this stuff. Just, I'd come in here and I'd be, you know, doing that for, like I could jump through the ceiling with it. And I'm gonna get back to that. Like, just those last 2 sets where I could just, okay, it's feeling lighter and lighter, and I'm moving it faster and faster and just kind of going down with more confidence. Like, okay, that's picking me back up. That's putting some more pep in my step. So, you know, I just gotta get past this mental inhibition. And I gotta be smart with the programming, listen to my body. But when it's time to go, I've made a decision, okay, the weight's on the bar, we're doing it. I gotta go, I gotta do it. You know, it's that little hesitation that can actually lead to an injury. Because, like, you know, you're pulling a heavy deadlift and you start to hesitate around the knee, you know, that can be where the injury happens. Or you're going down on the squat instead of going down smooth and confident, you're going down all timid. That's where something bad can happen. So, you know, as these weights ramp up, I just gotta go in there and eliminate that fear from my mind and just go. So anyway, guys, just taking you along for the ride with me and venting. All right, same concept as the squats. Let's pull this with some speed. Eliminate that fear. we go. Now the pop's coming back. All right, we got 545 on the bar. This might be the top set. Everything feels great, feeling strong, feels good. That's when I get nervous. That's when I've made mistakes in the past, where it feels a little too good. Then I get overzealous, and then I pull that one last set that I just should have called it the set before. So we'll see. If this is just, I'll know when I pull this if the best move is to call it there, leave some in the tank, or to bump up to 6. So 6th place is definitely there strength-wise. It's just a matter of I need to make sure I walk out here completely unscathed, because I got several months ahead of me of making these gains. So let's see how this goes. Felt good. I don't know, I gotta think on that one for a second. Okay, here's the deal. We're gonna not go heavier than 545. Is 585 and plenty more there strength-wise? Yes, of course, but I can walk out of here today feeling good about that session. What I cannot walk out of here feeling good about is if I got greedy, took another set, tweaked my back, even slightly. Like next week, I want to walk into this gym feeling better than I walked in today. Not, limping in, thinking, I got to work around this little tweak, or I feel a little stiffer than last week. I want to gain positive momentum. So I'm going to drop down to 495 and just do one more triple, just really generating good speed and confidence. And then next week, we'll probably work up to 585, 605, and then from there, really begin that kind of alternating light week, heavy week, light week, heavy week, and start building up towards 700 plus. And then the fun begins once we get into the 700s. All right, got a little bit too far out front on that first rep, not enough leg drive, but that's just something to easily clean up. So anyway, good squat session, good deadlift session. We're gonna hit some leg extension, some good girl machine, and get out of here. All right guys, that wraps up a good session. Good squat day, good deadlift day. Body feels great. So this is just like a good confidence builder week to really start pushing into some heavier weights. So I didn't want to bore you with leg extension, hip adduction machine. So I'm gonna get out of here. I'm starving. I need to get some carbs in me. The hunger of the diet's starting to kick in. So as we go through the episodes, I'll periodically kind of do physique updates and get in the posing room and show you guys the progress there. But anyway, I'm gonna go eat, and we'll see you guys when I wrap up the video. I'll do a quick recap on the training week and what my thoughts are coming up for the next week, which is gonna be the heavy week.
All right, boys, non-training day meals. I'm gonna take you through all the meals that I go through on my rest days. So, by the way, I said boys. If there's any women watching this channel, watching these videos, sound off in the comments, make yourselves known. But anyway, guys, okay, so training day calories are significantly higher than my non-training day calories, specifically with the carbohydrates. So on training days, I'm eating 330 grams of protein, 800 grams of carbs, and 90 grams of fat. On these non-training days, I'm eating 330 grams of protein, keeping that the same, and then eating 500 grams of carbs, so at about 60% of the training day carbs, and then bumping the fats up slightly to 110. Total calories on this day are about 4,200. Total calories on training days at the moment are about 5,500. So we're in a good deficit there. Which is crazy because, you know, several years ago, 5,500 calories on training days, that would not be a deficit. That'd be like a gain phase. So that's what happens when you build up a metabolism over time. So anyway, so this meal is very similar to my meal one for training days. I swapped out beef for chicken in all of my meals, training days and non-training days moving forward. So, you know, getting my fats from elsewhere. So going with leaner meat. But anyway, I got grits, 2 whole eggs, and 3 ounces of chicken breast in here. I've got a cup of 140 grams of frozen mango, which I throw in the microwave for 45 seconds, soften it up, put some ground cinnamon on it. I've got 100 grams of measured out homemade sourdough bread, absolute staple in the plan, and I don't envision taking it out until the absolute nitty gritty weeks at the end. Got my fat-free milk, of course, calcium maxing, additional protein, and then, of course, to tie it all together, the ribbon on top, double shot of homemade espresso. I'm kind of a coffee snob, a little bit of a coffee connoisseur. It's a little hobby I have, so, you know, trying to bring some sophistication to this meathead life. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get this down, and then, yeah, I'm gonna be hungry for most of this day. Hunger's starting to set in, so we'll see you at the next meal. Okay, meal number 2. So this is Old Faithful, chicken, rice, guacamole, elevated. So I've got in here 250 grams of cooked jasmine rice, 6 ounces of chicken breast, 50 grams of guacamole, and then I've souped it up a little bit. We've got 50 grams of plain non-fat Greek yogurt, which kind of tastes like a sour cream in there. It gives it a creamier texture, so it's a really good addition. I kind of like the hot-cold contrast, the hot chicken and rice, and then the cold guac, cold Greek yogurt. Tablespoon of tomato paste. So if you guys saw episode 1, tomato paste is included in the chicken and rice dish on the training day. I'm including it in this day as well. So dense source of potassium. And I made a post about the tomato paste on my Instagram as part of this meal, and people freaked out about it, like, oh, you're eating like raw tomato paste? What? Yeah, actually it tastes pretty damn good. And a can of tomato paste is like $1.50. And it was super micronutrient rich, and it just gives it like a really potent kind of marinara flavor. And again, adds to kind of the creamy texture. Then I got a chopped up pickle. I just love the cold crunch. When you're hungry, deep in a diet, which I'm not deep in a diet, but you know, as this wanes on, little texture nuances like that become the little highlights of your day. So some sriracha and mustard in there. And then on the side, I've got 125 grams of cooked sweet potato with some ground cinnamon on top. And then I've got my cold brew. So as this diet goes on, you're gonna see my coffee consumption increase to concerning levels. Right now, we're still in the pocket. Double shot of espresso with meal 1, cold brew meal 2. That'll be it for today's caffeine consumption. But yeah, that's gonna start creeping up here a little bit as I get hungrier and hungrier and leaner and more depleted. So anyway, we're gonna get this meal down. I'm not gonna bore you with meal number 4, which is actually a repeat of this exact meal. So I'm gonna show you guys meal 3, which is a good one. And then meal 5, and like I said, we'll skip number 4, just a repeat of this guy. All right, meal number 3. This is probably my favorite of the day. It's in running with meal number 1. But what I've got here, I've got a bowl of 170 grams of plain non-fat Greek yogurt mixed with a scoop of whey isolate, and then 140 grams of blueberries, frozen blueberries. Put a little bit of ground cinnamon on it, and then 10 grams of Manuka honey. So Manuka honey, a little bougie, a little bit more expensive than regular honey. I'll get it every now and then. But it's from New Zealand, and it has some major antimicrobial, God, I can't say that word, antimicrobial, right? Is that right? Antimicrobial factors and some anti-inflammatory benefits. So bringing in 10 grams of Manuka honey for some flavor and some carbs. And then over here, I've got 100 grams of homemade sourdough with some cream cheese, and then my favorite, 3 ounces of smoked salmon. Okay, I don't spend money on a lot of things. One thing I am willing to ball out on is smoked salmon. So this has been in my diet rotation for a while now, and it ain't going anywhere. So smoked salmon, Made my little, it used to be a lox bagel, going with the sourdough now, keeping the carbs, the fat a little bit lower. And then I've got a piece of 92% cacao Ghirardelli dark chocolate for some healthy fat, antioxidant, a little bit of fiber in there, and some good flavor. So I'm gonna get this meal down. Meal number 4 is just a repeat of meal 2, and I'll see you guys at meal number 5. All right, last meal of the day, meal number 5. So we've got egg whites scrambled with spinach. That's 230 grams of raw measured egg whites. I got 2 whole eggs in there, 50 grams of cooked spinach. I've got some kimchi and salsa added to it. So kimchi, getting the fermented foods for the gut health. Salsa, adding a little bit of extra micronutrients and some flavor. And here I've got oatmeal, almond butter, and blueberries. My son is chiming in. Anyway, I got 50 grams of raw measured oats. I blend that up in a bullet blender, make it like a powder, and then I cook it. It makes a really good texture. Give that a try. 40 grams of almond butter, and then 140 grams of frozen blueberries, some ground cinnamon, and then of course, fat-free milk. So anyway, this is the final meal of the night. I'm gonna go ahead and get this down, and that is what a non-training day of eating looks like for me currently. Now, as this diet goes on, this day is gonna start to get brutal. You're gonna see a lot of food pulled out of this day, and these are gonna be a struggle. For now, this is still a good bit of food. I feel totally fine on these days. A little bit of mild hunger kicking in, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this down. We'll catch you guys in a minute. All right, guys, we are back at the office here. So just kind of recapping the training week. So this was the moderate rep week, moderate reps on all the bodybuilding accessory work, and then the mid-range reps for all the main work. So that was the 5 on bench, the 3 on overhead press, the 3 on squat, and then on deadlift, that was just kind of a, hey, feel it out, let's touch something decently heavy, and then assess from there. So moving forward, just kind of taking in everything I felt this week. I think a big key point moving forward is going to be, number 1, taking all the strength movements, all the priority movements, and putting them on the front end of the session, right? We started off with bodybuilding as kind of a pre-fatigue on the front end, and then doing the squats, the deadlifts, at least the lower body stuff on the back end. And that was intentional, just kind of go into it pre-fatigue, which would force me to use less weight, stay more in the pocket, be extra, warmed up, lubed up, activated. But now that the weights are ramping up, I need to be fresh and able to generate as much force as possible to really start building that top end strength. So we're going to slide the squats and deadlifts to the front of all lower body sessions. Bench and overhead press, they've already been on the front of the session. So, I think I'm probably also going to make an overall just reduction in accessory volume in general. Just as I start getting more and more taxed by the main work, just scaling back the volume a little bit on the accessory work. And that might just be as simple as cutting off a set of each exercise, or just cutting off a set of, some of the more taxing accessory work, and just getting like 1 or 2 really high quality sets. But anyway, guys, other than that, we're going to wrap this video up. So I really appreciate everyone who tunes into this. I've been getting a lot of really positive comments, and it kind of gives me purpose. I'm kind of living a dream in a sense of being able to train and lift weights and diet as my job. Now, granted, my main job is coaching, doing nutrition coaching, but this is a big part of my job. I'm the face of my brand. My body is my business card. Creating content is a big part of what I do. And like this, the vlog, the podcast, like these are my babies. Like this is just my passion project. This is just me and my life, and it's fun to bring people along for the ride, and it kind of like puts a little bit of heat on me. Like, hey, I gotta set some goals. I got to step up to the plate and make them happen. And so having you guys tuning in, it's like that external motivation that's really helpful for me to have, and feels like I'm training for like a real tangible goal that's not just my own, just chasing numbers for me, right? So anyway, guys, really appreciate you following along. If there's any feedback, like more stuff you want to see, hey, this is getting boring, cut this out, etc. Drop it in the comments. Other than that, guys, appreciate you. We'll see you on the next episode of the vlog. Hopefully a little bit leaner and a little bit stronger by then.